Today's episode is brought to you by the book Everyone is a Sinner But Me, available now at Amazon.com and BarnesandNoble.com. Live from Volpis Studios, it's the MCS1 show featuring Casey Walker, Merlin and Cameron, and now your host, MCS1.
Welcome everyone! Welcome to another exciting edition of the MCS1 show. I am MCS1 and today we have an amazing show for all of you. We are just bursting with excitement, enthusiasm, and Merlin's just trying not to laugh. So once again, I enjoy with Merlin, Cameron, and Casey Walker. Welcome guys.
Yeah. Hey there.
Hey.
We have words.
Oh yeah, we have words. Suicide Squad, you son of a bitch! You stole my money.
Yeah, we have a lot to say about Suicide Squad.
At the movies.
At the movies.
At the movies. Where to begin?
Okay, I will actually preface this
I actually have an outline, but go ahead. I like this better.
by saying that I actually enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
I'm gonna rubbish it the whole time, but just keep that in mind as an underlying factor of everything that I'm saying.
Wow.
So when I say I hate something,
So it's not like your internet thing where it's like you have to love or hate something. It's like I enjoyed it, but I'm gonna destroy it.
I think yeah.
Is it something you love to hate?
I guess it's like, and this is appropriate because it had Jared Leto in Fight Club.
It kind of had Jared Leto.
Kind of had Jared Leto in Fight Club, where Edward Norton just beats the crap out of Jared Leto, and then just says, "I want to destroy something beautiful." Is that kind of what this is?
That's a prequel to Suicide Squad. And then he becomes the Joker.
Thus, the metal things in his teeth.
Yeah.
Oh man, this explains so much.
Wow.
Yeah.
David Ayer, you're a
Chaos.
genius.
Oh man, wouldn't that movie have been way better if David Fincher directed it? Imagine if Suicide Squad was directed by David Fincher. Imagine all the crazy panovers, time lapses, weird soundtrack.
Hey, it would have been better with the universe.
Oh, it would have been so much better.
It would have. Thanks, David Fincher.
Would have been planned.
Yeah.
Can you imagine Hell Bohemian Carter playing Holly?
David Ayer, who wrote and directed it, he only had 6 weeks to develop the story arc for this movie.
And 6 weeks is like no time to write a script.
No, if you've ever written a script, it takes 6 weeks to think of like
Ideas.
one character, and then it takes forever. You should spend a good amount of time on a script perfecting
and
it.
we're not even talking just drafts and stuff like that. We're talking like tons of rewrites and I mean the rewriting process with that. If that would have been 6 weeks, that would have been more appropriate.
Right.
Well, also what makes this conversation is like also more appropriate too is that you two actually have sat down with actually have tried writing scripts, so you actually know.
Actually, together too.
Yeah, I was just like
Kind of.
you guys actually know. But
We
like,
probably spent 6 weeks total on one of our scripts, baby.
We could have wrote Suicide Squad.
We could have wrote Suicide Squad in that time. So we're trying to write, gay romantic comedies and other stupid things. Let's talk about Suicide Squad after Casey's wonderful disclaimer/preface. I want to talk about how Batman versus Superman influenced this movie.
money.
Barely.
Money? You don't think so? Well, I think...
Oh, okay.
Now, hear me out. The influence of it was Batman versus Superman was very dark. Very dark.
It was dark.
It was very dark. And
Dark and gritty.
dark and gritty
And brooding.
and brooding
And violent.
with respect to Ben Affleck. And it wasn't well received by critics, most nerd fans.
Have you seen the Ultimate Edition?
I haven't. You had a really interesting point of insight for this. I remember from your Facebook post about it.
Yeah, it's... I don't know why the studio led with the theatrical cut. The Ultimate cut of Batman vs. Superman is infinitely better.
Really?
It's still not that good,
It explains
but
a
it's
lot of
infinitely
stuff.
better.
Okay. And I'm one of those few people that, like I mentioned with our Batman versus Superman review a while ago, that I actually liked it. I liked it a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I like Zack
I
Snyder
remember, yeah.
quite a bit. I don't love all of his stuff. Sucker Punch. Ugh. I liked Watchmen a lot. Besides the point. The Suicide Squad, because of how Batman versus Superman was received, it's a very dark movie. Suicide Squad was originally intended to be a very dark. The first trailer that came out for it, it was dark, gritty,
Right. It had this just very
sad tone.
and like it looked like a dirty wall that's been sitting there for 100 years with water dripping down it. That's kind of how I would describe the trailer.
I gotta say that's
Dark.
That's really accurate.
Yeah,
like it really is.
Yeah, and then
I think it even showed walls similar to that
they did.
in
I'm
the
pretty
movie.
sure that's exactly what
in the
happened.
trailer, which is why that fits so well.
But then after Batman vs Superman came out,
It was campy as crap, man.
happy. There was bright colors.
It was oh man, it was like 80s neon going on.
It was. They had like the flashing
the
like,
logo
logos, the paint splashes.
Oh man, it was just
the
like
Queen in the background.
it was like a rainbow got shot and it just like its remains just ran all over this trailer.
Right. They tried to make it more fun because everyone was like, I'm not up for this dark universe.
I'm not up for this dark universe, but you know, The Dark Knight was so dark, but I liked that. I just don't understand what's going on.
Well, that's the problem. Like the studio saw the reception of The Dark Knight, not realizing why it was so well received, and they're like, hey, let's just make dark Superman.
And we'll just make dark movies till the end of time.
Yeah, because that's what people liked about it. Is that
They
it
clearly
was
did not
dark.
Did not learn from the early 2000 superhero movies.
No, they did not.
No.
You know,
And
Daredevil.
Fan Four Stick.
So they
Fan Four Stick.
Don't get me
Casey
started.
actually saw Fan Four Stick.
I do.
Don't get me started.
No, Casey, I'll get you started. No. You have a really good insight for this, and I want it to be shared. Tell everyone what you thought about the first 30 minutes, and then your view after the movie.
What?
Of Fan Four Stick.
Oh, Fan Four Stick. So
I love this.
I was watching. So you're watching the movie, and you're like, "Oh, this is kind of cool. This is fun. This is like a nice take on the movie." And then it gets to the end, roll credits, and then you walk out kind of with a smile on your face, and slowly kind of droops down to a frown, and you're like, "Wait a second, that was horrible. That wasn't any good at all, was it?"
You feel so duped.
Yeah, like because you realize what you just watched, and you're like, that could have been so much better.
With your review, would you give that a standing ovation or an arms crossed?
That's a sitting down with your arms crossed.
Sitting down with your arms crossed. Okay.
I saw it too. I give it 1 out of 10.
Oh wow, this is just first
They
time.
were in 4 locations.
So
You
Suicide
didn't
Squad.
give it a 4 out of 10.
no.
Get it? Because Fan Force. Anyway.
Yeah, no, because
0.4. Yeah.
Suicide Squad, I kind of had that reaction, but
Wait
not
a
as bad.
minute.
Keep in mind, I liked it,
Yeah.
but I still kind of had that reaction.
I wasn't, like, when I got out, I wasn't sure how when it ended, and we just all, Merlin and Cameron, we all just kind of looked at each other, and we're just like, I'm not sure how I feel about it.
I was just confused.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I liked it. I'm not sure if I hated it. I'm not
Right.
sure if I was neutral towards it. I was just totally confused. If I was a Pokemon, I would have hurt myself in the confusion. That's like,
I think the best way to put it was when we walked out, we didn't know what to say because we all wanted to rant about something, but we just didn't know where to begin.
yeah, I
I
think
think
that's
that
kind of
was-
how we're feeling about the show right now.
I think there were really good moments that really
There
shined
were.
out.
No, there were, yeah.
They really demonstrated some of the characters, but then there were other moments that just did not
Bomb.
land.
Let's talk about the characters that, like, and some of the moments that we liked. First of all, let's just say casting. I thought the cast,
Fantastic.
Yeah,
Amazing.
Yeah,
All-star
amazing.
Great
cast.
job.
Everyone was spot on.
Yep.
spot on, great.
Wouldn't that change his name?
No, I was really impressed with Cat. No, what's his name?
Catwoman.
No, not Catwoman. Although
I
she
think
was
of Catman.
nah, Catman. Yes, Catman. You know, he could have fat in that movie because there was so many random characters. No, I was impressed with Rick
Flag.
Flag.
Uh-huh.
I was really impressed with him. Like, as the actor, he was good.
It was good.
He was the
He was very
the one I
Rick
didn't
Flaggy.
expect to be. I didn't know what to expect, but I walked out. I was like, wow, he was good.
Did you notice his hair change back and forth throughout the movie?
No.
Because of the reshoots, his hair is different.
Oh.
And so in certain scenes, his hair is
I
a very different length
gotcha.
Okay.
from what it was the scene before.
So another character, Captain Boomerang.
Captain Boomerang.
I felt Captain Boomerang could have been played by Casey Walker because he looks a lot like Casey Walker, and Casey Walker could have probably done a better job.
Well, did
only casting I would have changed.
Did you know that
You were
Tom Hardy was supposed to play Captain Boomerang.
Oh, really?
Really?
Yeah, but then he was doing
Another Bane movie.
no. It was it Mad
I've already
Max?
been in this universe.
I was born in it.
Molded by it.
I think he was either doing Mad Max or he was doing something else, and so he couldn't.
Oh.
So that's why they had Jai Courtney pop in as Captain Boomerang, which I thought he did a great job,
No,
but
he did.
they had him throw 3 boomerangs.
Yeah. Yeah, he wasn't really big on the boomerang throwing.
He was there mostly just make snarky remarks.
Yeah.
That's all he was there for.
I mean, that's what Casey's here for, which is why he could have played Captain Boomerang.
But I loved, what was it?
Warning, spoilers.
Is that his name?
Slipknot.
The guy who just dies.
Yeah, he did not last
I
long.
loved that. I thought that was so great because I mean, you knew that guy was dead. Like
he shows
everyone's
up, he shows up
expendable.
and she just says, "Oh yeah, he's with you too. He can do this." Okay, moving on.
right.
No
And he-
backstory, no nothing.
Yeah,
like
he didn't
everybody
get
else
no
got.
crazy backstory, which
It's like,
a lot of people, well,
Well-
actually only 2 people got. Well, maybe 3.
Wait, who didn't?
everyone tried to get something. but-
Yeah, everyone kind of got something, but it was just how long it went on. I feel the only
Mhm.
people who got like a ton of backstory. Deadshot got quite a bit.
Deadshot and Harley Quinn.
Harley Quinn got a ton. So
But the thing is,
much backstory.
If you removed all that backstory stuff out of that movie, the movie's still the exact same movie. Like
Yeah.
none of
Yeah.
that brings us back to
the plot.
the plot.
Yeah.
Like if your scene doesn't further the plot, if it doesn't answer a question to raise another one, you're not doing justice to anything, and no one cares about it. And so that's like with all the Joker scenes. I love Jared Leto as the Joker. I thought he was fantastic. Some people hated him. Some people said he was the worst, but it wasn't his fault. He did such a good job.
It was a script.
It was the script.
Which we'll talk about that later.
Right,
Which
but they just didn't develop anything, and those backstories, no one cared. They're still the same characters. So.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
Well, to be fair, the backstories were put in for people who aren't the comic book fans or the people who don't know.
I guess that's true.
If we have to be fair about this film down the middle, it's really just it's the parents or the families, like or the teenagers or kids, people who go in there and be like, I have
Hold on.
no idea.
Was this movie rated R?
no.
No,
No, it's PG-13.
it's PG-13.
Okay. I was thinking like, what parents gonna bring their kids?
Okay.
there?
It's funny that you say that.
The parents that brought their kids to see Deadpool.
Yeah,
It's
I
funny
would
that-
think most parents wouldn't, but that's just my opinion.
Yeah, it's funny that you ask if it was rated R because they try to make it dark and gritty like a rated R film.
Yeah, that's why I thought it was.
But it lacked everything of like what
A rated R
film
movie.
requires, you know. But
No Stallone.
needed Stallone.
Oh,
He could have played Captain Boomerang.
oh man, that would have been so sick. James Stallone as Captain Boomerang.
No, but I'm just saying, like, it's for people who who have absolutely no idea who those people are in that movie.
Yeah, which is true. I get that. But for me,
No, exactly. And
We're all nerds. Casey especially.
I've never read a single Batman comic.
Ditto.
What?
I've never played any of the Batman Arkham games. I don't remember any of the Harley Quinn episodes in the early Batman cartoon series.
Merlin, is it just you and I here?
I guess so.
No, but so I
So this is what it's like when doves cry.
I know, but for some reason I still know a lot about Harley Quinn
Yeah,
because
it's
she's
just
such a pop culture
icon.
Yeah.
And even though I've never seen anything, I've never read any comics with her in it, I've never seen any of the episodes of
Yeah.
Batman that she's in, but I still know everything about her. And when I saw her on screen, I was like, that's Harley Quinn. Like, that's perfect. She's
Yeah.
awesome. So I didn't need the backstory, you know?
Yeah.
I was actually disappointed with the backstory because it was a little bit more tweaked than originally.
Well, it was skimmed over, wasn't it?
I mean, it was skimmed over, but like,
There was no development.
well, I was like, the relationship between those two, that like
The Joker.
the Joker and Harley, it's not a love story. This isn't Twilight.
It's like an abusive relationship.
yeah, it's like
Yeah.
the Joker has her as a guinea pig. That's all she ever is to him.
It's Stockholm syndrome.
But
It is.
But in this
Well,
movie,
isn't that kind of how it is? Well, continue.
but in this movie, he spends his whole time in the movie being like, "I'm gonna go get Harley Quinn."
She's my girl.
But the
In reality, he
Yeah.
shouldn't care.
yeah, he doesn't though, and he honestly doesn't.
Well, I think
Joker don't need no
that, like,
woman.
deep down inside, he does care, but it's not to the point where he's like gonna.
It's not a normal relationship.
I was gonna say his most intimate relationship he has is with the Batman.
Right.
because it's like he
No.
needs the Batman to complete him because they both have that dark side in them and everything. But with Harley Quinn, she's like, oh, we even saw. Well, no, we'll get to that later. But like, I'm just saying, I don't know. It was alright, but like, it was not.
Merlin's angry and he's ranting.
Well put.
Yeah.
You showed them, Merlin. Warner Brothers is pissed now.
Come and get me, DC.
I just saw this movie as a gigantic rush. Like
it
it's
was so rushed.
The band from Canada, or
no.
You're thinking of the video game.
oh.
This DC trying to catch up to Marvel's cinematic universe by throwing in as many people as they possibly can
See,
Well,
I
that's
like
exactly what they're
into the thing. Because honestly, this movie could have just been Deadshot and
Harley
Harley Quinn, and maybe a few, like maybe one or two characters more.
Rick Flag.
But they tossed in like
I really like Rick
9
Flag.
more, and they threw in backstories for all of them because they're trying to play catch up.
But
And that's that's like the 10 minutes for every other character that has nothing to do with the plot.
right, but it's funny because they're bad guys, so we don't care about their backstory.
Exactly.
They're already interesting
Yeah.
because they're bad
The
guys.
Bad guys are the most interesting characters you can have.
They are.
Yep.
Which is funny. So it goes back to your asking if you thought this movie was rated R. So these are bad guys, and I think what happened, the Enchantress like turned the normal people into like weird rock
Yeah,
things.
Yeah.
blobby.
Which
things.
is weird but I think they did that because if they were just normal people being possessed by an enchantress, they're just blowing away people. Like Deadshot's up there just like headshotting like normal people.
Yeah.
That would be really dark.
Right, it would have been, and we would have like I feel like we
So
would have been turned
basically-
off by these characters. But
So it basically turned them into the Power Rangers putties.
Yes.
that's what happened.
That's what it is.
Holy crap, Rangers putties.
Exactly. Actually, that's a great analogy.
That
That
is.
is what it is.
And,
Yeah.
Or Star Wars prequels droids.
And they're just like
They're there
mindless things.
to just be killed.
They're
Like
just
when
Yeah.
you think about it, they're like, holy crap, these are people. They're just headshotting people.
Yeah.
just murdering people.
But when they're-
when they're
bad guys.
The
so
first
it's
few
fine.
shots don't
Yeah.
work on them.
But now they're fighting putties. It's like, ooh.
Exact. I mean, like, it's the same thing though. So
Right, so and nobody used their powers until the end except for Harley Quinn, which doesn't have any powers, and Deadshot, which
He's
just
just
uses
good at
that
shooting
axe.
is good at
stuff.
shooting
He's a
stuff.
sharpshooter. Yeah.
Well, El Diablo used it like his fire once before the end.
Once.
oh yeah, kind of, because he was
He
kind
had
of
one where they're arguing with him. He's like, "Fine, I'll do something."
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
did
do something.
that.
Come on.
So
For those scenes, it kind of just seemed like a checklist of like, oh, we need to focus on Diablo right here. Here's a Diablo scene. Toss it in there.
Yeah.
Oh, we needed something for Captain Boomerang. Oh, here's Captain Boomerang scene.
Kamehameha.
And they just toss these scenes in for random people, and you're like, that had nothing to do with the plot. It's just to show off this character.
Speaking
Thanks.
of like tons of characters and catching up, do you guys feel like this was like DC's like crappy version of the Avengers,
no,
but evil?
no, it was DC's
Guardians.
crappy version of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Ooh.
And especially on top of, no, that's also, well, let's think about like how DC is like they've been making movies and each one has always been like it doesn't compare to Marvel's movie. And I think with this one that they've applied to is they were adding humor, which DC has missed out in all the movies. So when we get to Suicide Squad, they try and insert like jokes as much as they can with it. And they think because if you think about Marvel movies, we're hooked on Marvel movies because not only are they action packed,
They're fun.
but they're fun. Like you
And
all
I got a lot of one-liners.
exactly.
And fairly decent dialogue.
And the
right.
jokes, the writers who write those jokes are just
they're
like
solid.
they land it every time.
Well, what was one of the jokes? Killer Croc. There was oh Lord, but like
his was good,
but like it only lands if you understand what the heck he's saying.
Yeah.
yeah.
because you kind of can't. Like
Mhm.
I'm partial. You know, I have a hearing loss,
mm,
so I understood him fairly well. And I was laughing at that line where he's like, "Oh, like her," where he's liking the evil boss or
Uh-huh.
whatever, and she talks about how heartless she
Yeah.
is, kind of thing. But other times I couldn't understand him.
right. I can
Yeah.
understand,
It's like,
anything
oh,
else.
show him a
Well,
what?
like back to like Guardians of the Galaxy. So Guardians of the Galaxy did really well, and it was great, and they had all these fun pop songs in there, and that's
Yeah.
what Suicide Squad tried to do.
I know.
Those songs did not fit that film.
It sounds
they
like
were
it would
literally
be-
just shoehorned in.
It sounds like it'd be a killer soundtrack, but it doesn't fit at all. And that's what I was thinking when I was hearing most of the songs in there. I'm like, this does not fit.
Right. Mark, you're an audio guy. Did you notice how abrupt some of those cuts were for those songs?
Yeah, I did.
It was just like...
That kind of bothered me. It wasn't like any fades or anything. It was just cut and dry. And it wasn't like painful on my ears.
It was
luckily,
just so noticeable, which shouldn't be. The music shouldn't be
that noticeable. Like
it wasn't
noticeable.
The music is supposed to go along with like the dialogue and like with the plot of everything. But this was just like, this is a popular song. Let's just throw it in there.
And they threw those into the trailer.
Yeah.
To make it, fun and campy or whatever. I'm like Ballroom Blitz was in the trailer, and I was like, man, I'm really excited to see this with all the bright, shiny colors and stuff. I was like Hillary Clinton when the balloons were dropping. Like, that's how fascinated I was with it.
I think the best scene that they did for the oldie song that really fit really well was when they introduced Harley Quinn spinning in a cage. And it was Leslie Gore's "You Won't Own Me" playing. Because it's not a poppy song, it's kind of a slow song and kind of like a beat. And that would just work really well for it, but everything else, it was just like, I think you guys are just doing this just to do it. Like,
yeah. And that's kind of how I felt with the soundtrack, and just like what Cam said with the checklist. The other thing about Suicide Squad that I actually was found really odd was it was basically, if you saw the new Ghostbusters, it is basically the new Ghostbusters movie. Very, very same plot.
How is it the same? I haven't seen Ghostbusters.
Basically a team of people going up against someone who has, quote, felt rejected, the world has done them wrong, and now they're going to release their powers upon the world. So in Ghostbusters, it's like a ghost type machine releasing ghosts and all this other type of stuff. In Suicide Squad, it is Enchantress doing that. And then they're fighting through a bunch of useless rubble like the putties or the ghosts to get to the end boss.
Well, I think, what I made when I said like it's exactly the same movie as Ghostbusters, it was 4 versus 1 deity.
Yeah.
In Suicide Squad, it was 6 or 5 versus 1 deity.
Yeah.
And it was just like the lineup was the same thing. They're standing there on the platform, waiting to start, waiting for the protagonist to walk in and be like, all right, let's do this. And the final scene, exactly like how it was set up for Ghostbusters, exactly how it was set up for Suicide Squad.
And the ending scene, like the final battle, Casey had a really good analysis of that.
Yeah, it was. So if you've ever played a video game ever,
especially World of Warcraft,
right?
Which I'm sure none of our viewers have.
Just like any game, you're walking around, and so in Suicide Squad, if you remember, they're all behind these pillars and they're just kind of talking. And if you notice in the back, Enchantress is just like waving her arms, dancing, like she's just there as like a repeated animation or something.
Black smoky stuff.
Until you pass the columns and pass the threshold, which activates like some type of event that starts the boss battle. That's exactly what happened in Suicide Squad. Mm-hmm. They were all behind the thing and
send the tank out.
Like all those characters could have just been running back and forth behind those pillars. And then finally, as soon as they pass the threshold, she turns around and is like, ha, and they start fighting.
Put the buffs on me. Put the buffs on me.
Like, seriously. Party buffs, guys. Party buffs.
Exactly.
Defenses.
So, one of my favorite things in Suicide Squad. So, Harley Quinn, obviously, she was one of my favorites. She really stood out. She was great.
Great.
But my favorite thing in the whole movie, which all they needed to do is show one scene with her and the Joker, just remove all the other scenes with her and the Joker, and just keep one of them, because any of them would have worked just fine. And then keep the very end scene when she's in the bar or whatever, and she's just, or where is it? She's like hallucinating, where she's with the Joker, and they have like this perfect family.
It's at the end.
Enchantress.
Yeah,
Enchantress hallucination.
That part, I was like, oh, that is perfect, because that's what she wants her life to be. But like we all know that's never gonna happen.
Never
gonna happen. It's so messed up, and the Joker just totally messed her up. But that would have been scene.
That's all you needed.
That's all you needed.
You didn't need any of that other backstory.
No, that's all you needed.
No, that would have
been everything.
Fine.
Because he was normal in that scene too. He wasn't dressed up in his makeup or anything either.
He normal colored hair.
Right.
He was normal.
Yeah. And so they could have had. So the scene they could have kept was just her and the Joker driving in the car, and Batman stops them.
Yeah.
And Batman that's when Batman gets her. That's the only scene they could have kept.
That's all they would have needed.
That's all they would have needed.
We didn't
And
need any of
then-
this other backstory.
Right.
Another thing, let's talk about Batman and Suicide Squad. Batfleck.
Batfleck.
Yep.
Batfleck is my favorite.
I am driving that bandwagon. I will drive it to my grave off a cliff.
he's so
I love
good,
it.
though. He's so good.
Oh, I know. That's what I'm
Like,
saying.
what's funny is Suicide Squad to me was the best portrayal of Batman in any Batman movie.
Apologies to Adam West and Kevin Conroy.
Out of all the old Batman movies, out of all the Dark Knight trilogy, out of Batman vs Superman.
Apologies to Val Kilmer.
Out of all, I forgot he was Batman. That's
And
weird.
George Clooney.
I say, what about George Clooney?
No, yeah, this
Well,
was
that's as we always discuss. That's George Clooney playing George Clooney for the Bat costume.
it is.
Which is why it's so funny.
No, this was the best portrayal of Batman in any Batman movie because he goes in, he fights crime, he doesn't murder anybody, and he just does what he just Batmans, you know? He just does
It's just
what
Batman. It's a verb now.
It is now a verb.
He just Batmans, and
It's a dance too. The Batman.
like he was clearly vicious and ferocious, but he wasn't this unforgiving prick like he was in Batman vs Superman.
it's over, Deadshot.
Yeah, and then like kills him. He throws
In
him in
front of his
jail.
daughter.
No.
Oh, that would have been dark.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if Zack Snyder would have directed it, that's what would have happened.
Oh gosh.
But-
More tragic backstory.
And the Flash. The Flash was in it too.
The Flash was in
Shut
it.
up.
which I loved. I thought
That
he
was
looked
kind of
great.
cool. Going back to that scene that I mentioned with Deadshot where he catches them, I felt like there was, and we kind of drove this into the ground a little bit. There's too much exposition going on, but I was kind of waiting, for them to kill off Batman's parents, and then you pan over, and then it's Uncle Ben dying, and Peter's there. And then he's just like,
I ain't gonna deal with that.
oh man.
No, that's I actually really liked that scene with Batman and Deadshot because Deadshot would have just killed him, but the only reason he didn't
Because his daughter's
was
there.
his daughter there, and so it was perfect because it just worked great, and Batman didn't kill Deadshot. Deadshot didn't kill Batman.
I think another reason that was a good scene though is because usually we see these powerful villains
Mm-hmm.
and the superhero just beats the crap out of them like super fast.
Mm-hmm.
Like does
And then
really
he catches him after he's done shopping
Well,
with his daughter.
I was gonna say but it's really cool because
Damn, he
it
looks
doesn't make Deadshot look like he's a pathetic
a
villain.
soulless jerk.
Because we saw that he had the gun and he had it ready, but he didn't do it because of his daughter. So he's just
Right.
like, all right, I'm voluntarily giving myself out. I'm not resisting.
Uh-huh.
Whereas other superhero movies, it's like, oh, I'm this big vicious villain, and then the superhero comes in, one punch, and the guy's out. I'm like, well, he was a super villain. How does he go out with one punch?
Yeah.
I think that's one thing that made his character even great was that it's not like he got beaten down. It was that he was like, I can't do this in front of my daughter.
Yeah.
So.
The other thing I liked about Deadshot was Will Smith's overall portrayal.
Mm-hmm.
He was
Yeah.
just being Will Smith.
I know. It was good
It
though.
was so good.
Yeah, but
Like where he picks up the gun and he's like, y'all jokers must be crazy.
Shoots it.
And he just starts going nuts with it. That was
So good.
awesome.
I love how he starts making his demands too. He's like, okay, see if I know what's not working for you.
What did you think of the Amanda Waller twist in the middle of it? Remember when they're like, oh, we gotta save a thing in the middle of the building. We gotta get the Suicide Squad and save a thing.
Yeah.
And then it turns out to be Amanda Waller. What did you think about that?
I didn't really. I felt like I saw that coming.
Did you?
I kind of thought like they were going for. To be honest, I kind of lost track of what was going on a little bit, and I thought they were going for her.
I thought it was gonna be the Joker.
Really?
Oh, really?
Yeah, because
When I originally heard about the movie, I thought they were going to be targeting and going after the Joker.
yeah. So I thought that too until the movie started, and I was like, oh, the person they're gonna get, it's gonna be the Joker. Like,
That's yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and so it was a twist for me that it was Amanda Waller, but then she just blows those 6 people away.
I know.
And I was like, wait a second.
You were
She's
evil.
supposed to. She's clearly not a good person, but like
She's working
She
with
just-
good guys. quote
she
unquote.
just murdered these people. Like she should be in this Suicide Squad. Like she's worse than any of these Suicide Squad members.
Yes.
Which I guess is what they were trying to portray. But like I hate that in movies when like the good person who's on the good side
is actually
is
evil.
actually like the was like a really bad person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the frustrating thing is they couldn't do anything about it.
Right.
And
As a character. Sorry, go.
No.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just going to give credit to the actress.
Oh.
Oh no, Viola Davis.
Yeah, Viola Davis. I
so
think
good.
she did it. I wouldn't cast anybody else for that role.
Incredible. She
did
good.
amazing.
As
with
far
that.
as her character goes in her acting performance, in the immortal words of Killer Croc, I like her. Like, I felt like she did a good job,
No,
and she was a good villain because you hated her.
Right.
No, exactly. I was gonna say, like, what makes a good actor is that if you playing a villain or a bad guy role and you got the audience and everyone hating
That's
you,
true.
you delivered on the role.
Oh no, she delivered.
So,
She was great.
because it's like you're sitting there like, I want her to die. Is she gonna die?
Right. Well, I hated in the movie how nobody used their powers
Until the very end.
And Katana, who just happened to be, she wasn't on the Suicide Squad, but she was there. She has a sword that can capture souls. Didn't capture a single soul.
But it captured our hearts.
Did it?
No, it really didn't. I just wanted to say that.
She moped and talked to her sword.
And she talked to the sword.
Yeah, she was just kind of there, hanging out,
She was
just
there as a
slinging putties.
as a defense to the guy with the thing on his wrist that
Well,
would
I
blow him up.
thought the whole time I was like, okay, if her sword can capture a soul, why doesn't she just cut Enchantress's head off and steal Enchantress's soul and
That
keep
would
it
have
in her
been
sword?
cool.
Actually, that does make really good sense.
That's what should have happened.
That's what I was expecting. I was waiting for that the entire time.
I'll finally a payoff from that
And
setup.
something dumb happened instead.
Where did you see that part where she sliced that ginger, and
Oh, jeez.
and there was no soul that got sucked. So the part where no, I'm just kidding.
She falls over. I'm still here.
I think we all agree that Psylocke from X-Men was bad.
Oh.
I don't know. Yeah, no. So that
No,
disappointed me. Diablo, El Diablo, was great at the end because he turned into El Diablo.
Yeah, that was cool. That was like
That was.
His backstory. I didn't care about at all.
Yeah.
I don't think anyone did.
No, well, and then they're at the bar drinking, and he
Yeah.
like tells this whole thing where he killed his whole family, and Harley Quinn's like, "You gotta own up to that. You killed kids." But like Harley Quinn, I'm sure she's killed kids. Like she doesn't care about that. Like, and then it's like, why would any of them care? And
They're bad guys.
Yeah.
The only way I can justify it, because I was thinking about that scene too, is like, why would Holly get upset? I think it's like that she
Probably
is so
wanted kids.
well, she's so unstable. So sometimes she could be like cookie, poppy, like really lovely girl, but then she could just be like this vicious, hardcore person. But then she can also switch to being like this really depressed, sad person. Because there's also like I know you guys don't read the comics or anything, but there is a comic where Harley Quinn is actually like having an emotional moment in jail. And like Ivy is like in the cell next to her, and Harley Quinn is actually like opening up, saying like she has a child, and she's
brutal.
and she's telling Poison Ivy this, and she's like, and I can never tell the Joker. She admits that the Joker's the father. He's like, but I can never tell him or let him ever know where her location is.
Yeah, too bad that's in the movie.
I was just like,
that would be.
But that's how it is. If you read the comics with Harley Quinn, she can be like 5 different people in like 3 seconds, like because her stability,
So nice.
yeah, her stability, her mindset. Yeah,
stability.
it's just all
That's
over
the
the place.
word.
You know,
That's
it's
the
just
word.
all over the
For
place.
stupidity.
Yeah. I was fumbling
that.
that. I was like, no, I'm just saying and I think that's what makes her such a beautiful character in this movie that Margot Robbie captured so well, because she's peppy,
Yeah.
she's brutal, and then I think in the ball she was showing her anger that he could like do that to his kids, and she was just because as Casey pointed out, she did have that scene where she does want a family. So
yeah.
you know,
Another thing that we also pointed out, and we brought up a little bit, but we haven't really touched on as much as we should. The script was bad.
The script is
So
terrible.
the script is really bad, and I feel like that's the main reason this movie sucked. Because
Granted-
the story wasn't good.
no, yeah,
well, didn't we already say David Ayer only had like 6 weeks?
6 weeks.
Yeah, he only had 6
He
weeks.
had 6
but
weeks. They
it
could have
helped.
given him more time. Like
should.
hire
They
him,
should have.
hire him
They-
earlier.
they should
do
have.
something to give him more time.
And so because like that script, the story suffered, and I want to bring this up. I want to go back to the Joker again. Casey told me a very interesting point about the Joker and the filming that they did with Jared Leto the other day.
Oh yeah, well, so I guess Jared Leto said that they shot enough stuff that the Joker could have had his own movie, you know? And there's all these stories like in the press that Jared Leto sent like dead rats to people and like used condoms and whatever, and
Whoa, wow.
and yeah, like all this stuff that the cast said that he did, and that he was so in character, and so you go into this movie thinking
He's gonna be a huge part of it.
Joker's gonna be huge because that's all we heard about during pre-production.
Hence why we thought he was the villain.
Yeah.
Right, hence why we thought he was the villain. And then turns out you watch the film and it's just all like flashbacks.
He got
And-
Random
5 scenes.
exposition.
Yeah,
And-
he got like 5 scenes in that whole movie.
right, and so the movie got some backlash, and when asked about it, I guess he was like,
Probably
they asked like,
mad.
Jared, what happened? And he's like, I don't know what happened. He was pretty pissed. Like,
And
he was pretty pissed
rightfully
because they
so.
misled him.
And I don't blame him because they do all this filming with him. He's playing a very iconic character, has a very new twist on it.
And he's an incredible actor. He
Yeah.
has an Oscar.
And the thing about the Joker for this one, they tried to make him be like a Mexican mob boss, which is why,
yeah.
which is why they had like the crazy guns and the tattoos and stuff like that. To be honest, and this is nothing against Jared Leto, I didn't like this Joker because he wasn't funny at all. Like there was not one joke did he crack. He was just kind of there at
That's
times.
true.
And that's because of the script.
Well, there's a kind of a theory going around about the Joker's portrayal in this.
Okay.
He's not Jason Todd.
Please don't tell me it's the Jason Todd theory.
I don't know what that is.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay, never
But
mind.
apparently, in the comics, there's a scene where Batman has like sat down in like this chair called the Mobius chair that has like all knowledge in the universe, and he asks the chair like, "Who's the identity of the Joker?" And in the comic that he does this, it's never told what the chair says. He's like, "What? That's impossible. That can't be." And then like 8 editions later, we finally get the answer to that question. And apparently, there are 3 Jokers.
Really?
Uh-huh. I don't know how it works, but the theory going around is that it's kind of explaining like the different ages in the comic books.
Uh-huh.
There's like the gold, silver, bronze, and current, and modern age.
Corinthians. First
Huh?
Corinthians. What?
So in this one, is this one like the platinum Joker based on all like the weird metal he had? in his
Silver
teeth?
because of his teeth.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
So it's the different ages of comics, and like when they first came out, it's like World War II era stuff. Like when Batman and Superman first came out, the Joker was a killer. Like in the first episode, first edition of the book, he calls like a news station, says he's gonna kill somebody, and then does it.
And then does it.
Like he doesn't care. He's just a murderer.
Wow.
And after a little while, some comic book division came up and started making rules on it. And then the Joker became a prankster, only wanting money. That's where like the flower that shoots stuff, that comes out. Like
Yeah.
The Jolly Buzzer that electrocutes people. Silly stuff starts happening, and that Joker becomes kind of obsessed with money and all these tricksters. Then the Bronze Age, when that thing went away and nobody cared anymore, it turned into a more psychological Joker, where he's more of a psychopath, that he's dependent on the Batman to
Stop him.
Just
function.
mess with it.
Yeah,
To
just-
function. Like he can't live without the Batman. And that's the Bronze and Modern Age of comic
The
books.
best joke.
Yeah.
And comparing those to the movies, comparing the comic book movies to all the live action Jokers, you got Adam West,
Old chum.
who's the old one. No, not the Adam West era. Caesar Chavez.
Ramirez.
Caesar Ramirez.
Wow.
Caesar Chavez.
That's the name that popped in my brain. I
Wow,
can't-
let's just.
I'm pretty sure he played the Joker once.
This is.
I'm going to kick myself in the
I'm not editing
later
that out.
because I don't know who that is.
Oh boy.
So I'm just gonna look this up. I'm gonna Google this later, and I'm probably gonna regret
Fact check it on your own.
Yeah, probably kick my butt later.
You're
So-
gonna be riding home with Merlin and just crying.
So there's that Joker from the old Batman era who's just a prankster. He lines up with the Silver Age. Then you have the Tim Burton Batman film where that Joker,
Jack Nicholson.
is the gangster. He kills people. He calls people, and that's what he does. He's a gangster. And then you got Heath Ledger, who is the psychopath.
The anarchist.
The anarchist who's just lost his mind. He's dependent on the Batman
Batman.
being there to for him, basically. And then you toss in Jared Leto, who great. They have Google out.
We're looking up Cesar Chavez right here, and this is just too perfect. It's making me laugh more.
Oh no! So then you got Jared Leto, who's basically another reincarnation of a
I have it
gangster.
pulled up, so after he's done, I'm gonna.
All right, let's do it on air.
Oh,
Just
boy,
do
let's
it,
see
Cam.
it. Let's see it.
Will you read it, Cam?
Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez was an American labor leader, civil rights activist who, with Dolores Huda, co-founded the National Farm Workers Association in 1962.
And also played the Joker in
Apparently
1963.
Play the Joker.
I have no idea why Chavez popped in my brain.
Hello, Bats. We're gonna form a labor union. Who are you gonna stop us? We'll strike. We'll show those fat cats in Wall Street what's up. I'm a different kind of villain. I care about money, but I also care about the people.
I'm Robert.
Perhaps your Jason Todd theory would have been better at this point.
Anyway, so that's kind of the thing with the three Jokers and
Okay.
Yeah, this was
So-
just a different
so
portrayal.
putting
It's
this
just
Joker
thick.
in instead of the psychopath, which we all like.
Oh, is that the Cesar Chavez?
It was Caesar being Caesar Chavez.
being Cesar
Joker number 3.
So putting
Classic
Jared Leto in as the
Joker
gangster
number 3.
makes more sense.
Oh, yeah. Oh, gosh.
Aside from me screwing up people's names, I am terrible with names.
Oh, that was too perfect. Okay.
Does that explain a little bit? Does it kind of fit a little bit more with the whole non-laughing Joker?
Yeah, it does. It
Serious?
does fit more. I can't get my mind off the Cesar Chavez thing
I'm
now.
sorry.
But the reason I think you like the funny one is because you and I are huge fans of the Mark Hamill.
Yeah, we're
Joker,
big Mark Hamill fans.
So that, and
of
he's
the
always
Mark
cracking
Hamill.
jokes in
Yeah.
the
The
animated
Mark Hamill
series.
Joker is
Yeah.
always going to be my favorite.
Yeah,
my
mine too.
personal one.
Yep.
P.S. This theory all gets credited back to game theorists or film
Game-
theorists.
Oh,
Film theorists
theory.
on YouTube. Matt, Pat, go look them up.
You too.
Now you can't sue us because we said that.
Yep. Yep. It's not my theory.
One less lawsuit for the MCS1 show.
You're welcome.
Still waiting on that mail.
Still waiting on that. Waiting for those fan letters, people. All right. I think we've about wrapped up everything that I have to complain about this movie, or say that I liked. Let's go into the rating system. Merlin, what's your stars?
I would give it 3 stars.
3 stars. Okay. Cameron.
I maybe give it around 7 out of 10.
7 out. Really? 7
Wow,
out of 10?
7 out of 10?
That's pretty high.
What?
That's pretty. 7 out.
I liked the
Well,
actors.
about a 70% rating. I mean,
I liked the actors. I liked how they did their job. The biggest fat falter was the script. It was what ruined it.
Yeah.
I don't blame the actors or the
So
people,
many good
you know,
actors.
or even the editors that were told by the executives of
The
the
editing
branch
was-
to say, you gotta make it now campy and weird. Rather
which
than,
they did at the beginning.
yeah. And
It's
it's
just
just,
so
I don't know.
hard.
Why are striking my white guys?
We're gonna strike.
Thank you, Cesar Chavez Joker.
I don't think. That was the issue here.
Power to the people. It's like a Mark Hamill cartoon humorous Joker mixed with civil rights.
Sounds like a.
I'm never gonna let this
I
down.
want more than
Or I'm never gonna leave this.
$6.25 an
I'm never gonna leave this
hour.
down. I'm doomed to this joke forever.
We're keeping you going, Hollywood. How about you put some of that money back in our pockets? My rating. Would I buy this movie? No. No. I don't feel this
No.
movie has any
Replay value?
replay value. It really does.
What about a twist on your rating? Would you pirate this movie?
No.
I mean, no, you never.
No. I would never download a movie.
Shouldn't that
Mark,
be
why are
your
you
rating
nodding?
You
system?
never. Would you download a pizza?
Mark, why are you nodding?
What the? Hey, shut up. No, because I don't. jerks.
You
He's
wouldn't
not.
steal a purse. Why would you
I
steal
don't
a
appreciate
purse?
you infringing on it.
I'm Cesar Chavez here to stop piracy.
With each movie pirated, a writer loses his money. No, I wouldn't. I don't want to see this movie again. That's mostly
that's
what I'm getting
That's where you
at.
draw the
It's
line.
not good enough for me to buy.
It means
Which
that
is
you're not
why I
gonna
won't
watch it
buy
again.
it. If I really like a movie, obviously I'll buy it.
Because you'll watch it again.
Because I'll watch it again. I wouldn't pirate it.
Well, there's plenty of movies that not that I pirate that I would be glad to pirate. Not that I pirate, but I sure would love to because it's free. Not that I pirate.
Jar.
That is Casey Walker talking.
I'm pretty sure that was Merlin.
Merlin, what's with all this piracy?
Um,
Don't you care about the writers and those fine people in Hollywood?
Caesar Chavez Joker. The anti-piracy Joker.
I'm pretty sure you just saw a YouTube clip of Cesar Chavez, and you're doing an impersonation of him, which I don't appreciate because he's the one and only. So, I appreciate this.
I'm definitely putting in a search engine for the show Caesar Chavez. And we're going to get all these people like trying to listen.
You're
And
gonna
they're
get
going to be
letters.
solely
Then
disappointed.
you'll get your mail.
Yeah, then I'll get my mail.
You got letters.
I love
All
how
letters.
this
Mark at the MCS1show.com.
There it is. You know what? Man, when we were
Yeah,
starting,
what's your rating,
when we were-
Casey?
so my rating is: would I give this a standing ovation, or the opposite, sit down on my chair with my arms folded? I'm gonna say seat, but I said chair. At first, I was gonna give this a standing ovation. After we've been talking and rubbishing it, I'm pretty sure this is a sitting down with my arms folded.
This is a self-fulfilling prophecy. No.
But like, oh, you know what this is? It's
Oh, they're a middle one now.
no, it's a standing ovation going into a slow clap,
Slow
realizing
clap.
what you've done,
Oh.
and
slow
going
sitting
into
down.
and arms folded.
Oh.
That's what it is. Because it
Yeah.
could have been so much better.
High hopes.
Yeah.
And then crushed. All right, everyone. That's our show today. I want to thank my guest, Merlin, Cameron, and Casey
Oh, yeah.
Walker. Thanks for coming on.
Hope you
And
enjoyed.
until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Peace.
Thank you for listening to the MCS1 show. For bi-weekly episodes on society, counterculture, and pretty much everything but politics and sports, subscribe on iTunes, Google Play, or SoundCloud. For regular updates, head to the mcs1show.com or search the MCS1 show on any social media platform.